the Diet Coach, and today I'm going to talk about, I know I haven't done a video for a little bit. Through all this, as many people know, I've moved from the West Coast, California, to the East Coast, near Pittsburgh, just outside of Pittsburgh in a little place called Irwin. Actually, we really love it here. But I thought since it was kind of appropriate after the Nationals, because of I had a competitor at the Nationals who got their pro card, I thought it would be appropriate to talk about quitting. When preps get really difficult, it's oftentimes at some point in the process. I've always said that if you don't feel like curling up into a little ball in a corner and crying for about an hour, then you probably aren't dieting hard enough, or you're probably not going to be in good enough shape. And from what I saw at the Nationals, there's probably a few people that could have used a little bit more severity in their diet. But irregardless, I did have a competitor, a physique competitor, who she got her pro card and did really, really well. But about a week or so before the show, actually it was about a week and a half out from the show, she texted me and wanted me to, and told me that she was really going to give up. And I told her she wasn't allowed to. We've been through too much, and I know what I see, and she was going to do well. But, and then of course at the show, she was happy. She got a pro card. She did really, really well. The point is, and I'm not trying to call her out on this, but the point is that sometimes in life, the best thing to do, and I've made some posts about this in the past, is not to give up. That the horizon ahead is actually much brighter than it may seem. A lot of times, through a contest prep or through a diet, it can oftentimes seem very, very difficult. And I think we, as competitors and as people doing our process in life, whether it be a diet or whether it be a contest prep or whatever, it can oftentimes become very, very dim because we don't see things in their eventualities. We see things filtered through the emotional masks that we have, that we hold on to every day. So for whatever reasons, low carbs, a bad day, you may feel very, very differently than you might feel on any other given day, especially when you have food and you have the proper nutrients to supply energy. Your emotional states are very, very subject to change, and especially to becoming somewhat depressive at times and somewhat kind of pessimistic through a contest prep. And you really have to guard yourself against that. You have to know that you have to trust your process, and you have to understand that all this is for a good cause in terms of this is why you committed yourself to this in the first place. I know that through every contest prep that I've ever been through, there's some point in the process where I feel like, hey, I want to give up. But this is, and that's usually how I know I'm going to be in shape. And I'm not saying that every diet has to be horrible. What I'm saying is that it usually is a good indicator at some point in the diet, especially towards the latter third of the diet, that you're just going to come up and it's just not going to feel good if you're in really great shape because your body doesn't want to be there. So you have to rely and trust on your mentors, on your coaches, on whoever it is that is your support mechanism, the professional set of eyeballs that that's helping you get through this process. And if you don't have that, you're at a disadvantage because you're going to be subject to the whims of what most competitors go through, which is they end up struggling and trying to grope for answers, and they oftentimes make really bad decisions. So these days, the age of a lot of competitors prepping themselves on a regular basis, highly successfully that is really sort of, it's because of how great a shape you have to get into to do well at these big shows. It's just becoming more and more fewer and far between athletes who can do this. I've had a harder and harder time doing it for myself. So I know the pull and the draw. But giving up through the process, especially at that stage in the game, is really not a wise idea. Even at the very least, what really matters in these kinds of instances is what effort you put in and what value you're deriving yourself. Forget about trophies and pro cards and all those kinds of things. You put this kind of effort, and this particular competitor that had been dieting for 6 months to get to this point, so or more, actually a little bit more. But so all that process to go and just to quit at the very end of the race would have seemed fairly ludicrous to me, especially given that I know that she could have done well and she deserved to be there. And of course, the results speak for themselves. She got her pro card. So for those of you out there, I hope this has some value, and I hope you keep everything positive. Again, this is Tad the Diet Coach saying never give up and stay positive.